Yo, hit that like button. Hit the like button when you step up in the building. Dark Nebula was good. Christopher Alexander was Ed Noppin. Nicolette Moore was Goody. We're going to get into something. We're going to get into it. Tell me how the sound is, y'all. Let me know how the sound is. What the sound do? What the sound do? What the sound do? Shout it. Shout it. What the sound do? How that sound is. Hold on. Sound is good. I'll tell y'all. Remember that video I did with the white boy with the whip? I had about, 1.74 thousand subscribers. After that video, I'm down to 1.73 subscribers. So I lost a few with that one. And I don't think that was YouTube that time. But it's all good. You know, we're going to rock it how we rock. Some people only want to hear certain truths, not all of them. And it's all good. Turn up the volume a notch. Yeah, I'm trying not to pick up this fan. Let me see. I got a fan blowing on me. It's pretty warm in this garage. How's that? It's warm in the garage, and I don't want the fan distorting shit. We got some crazy times going on, man. Look, we know what these people want to do, man. We know they want to take all the rights away. We know they probably want to reduce the population in order to better control the masses. We know these are the things these people want to do. They don't really hide it too well. You know, Black Spring with Autumn was good. They don't really hide it too well. You know, they don't hide their hand too well. They know what they're doing. They want us to know what they're doing, and they want us to know there's nothing we could do about it, right? Like these characters in the WEF, right, in Davos, the ones that are supposed to be talking about, they're getting together to talk about the future of the world without our input. And they're talking about the environment and carbon footprints and all this other bullshit. But they're the ones with 1,500 jets, 1,500 private jets at least, of, you know, these corporatists, these corporate welfare recipients that are going and flying their private jets and spewing all kind of carbon into the air. And they acknowledge that, yeah, it probably doesn't send the right message. But you know what? They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. The only message they want you to receive is that they are the ones in control of the future of us and our prosperity and our children's posterity. That's all they care about. They want us to know they have the control. They're the ones who are going to dictate what happens in the world today and tomorrow. And they want us to believe there's nothing we can do about it. But in reality, there really is. And that's why this is so important, right? If you look at my cursor, shit like this is so important to highlight and point out. Because they are using the alleged tragedies of what happened in Uvalde, what supposedly happened in Uvalde, and what happened in Buffalo. They're going to use those tragedies to further push the stripping of our rights, even though it doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense to remove those rights because, like I said yesterday in my live stream rant, every form of gun control was in place during these shootings in the places they happened. Not to mention, what happened in Uvalde was very, very interesting. Particularly, there are a lot of things that's wrong with the timeline, and there's also some issues with how the guy came upon the weapons that he bought, which totaled to about $3,700 just for the 2 firearms he bought and the hundreds of rounds of ammunition that he bought. How was he able to buy that shit? What type of money did he have? How did he get that money? And how long was he planning this? And then there was a whole thing about how did the police allow this man or this little boy, you know what? Let's stop calling him a boy. He's a man. Okay, he's 18 years old. Yeah, he just turned 18, but for all intents and purposes, he's a grown-ass man. Anybody explain to me how he was able to get into a shootout with multiple police officers, drive away, crash, and then end up on campus, make it all the way to the building, and lock himself in a room with all these students where they all were killed in this one room? Can somebody explain to me how he was able to pull that off? He didn't kill anyone outside the room. He waited until he was in a room with all these students and killed all these people in a concentrated, singular area where conveniently it's easy to control the environment. Now, I'm not going to go all Alex Jones on you and say, oh, this didn't happen like in the SH situation almost 10 years ago. I'm not going to say that. What I'm saying is how controlled this whole shit was. This is a very, very fortunate shooter. Let me see what y'all talking about real quick. Shot killings was good. Yeah, they're scapegoating everybody. So, extremely convenient for the shooter, extremely convenient for the narrative that he was able to concentrate his slayings in one room. After getting into a shootout, a wild shootout with the police, making it to the campus where the Border Patrol heard the gunshots, but he was still, you know what I'm saying? Like everything seemed kind of convenient, right? Everything fell right into place. You understand? Everything fell right into place. And, you know, it doesn't take much time for the usual gun-grabbing suspects to say what they have to say. You know, Francis O'Rourke going up into all this bullshit with going up into the press conference with Governor Abbott and posturing and pandering and campaigning, you know, all that shit. Everything is just working out so well. But what's not working out so well is the gun grab itself. Let me tell you guys something. We are winning that war. We are winning. The gun grab is not working for them because more people are going out and purchasing firearms to exercise their rights to keep and bear arms. More and more people, 20 million more people than normal last year, something like that, 18, 19 million more than last year. A record number of background checks for first-time gun buyers. These are people who were on the other side. And you still have people on the other side. If you go look at CNN, and, you know, CNN puts out these posts on Facebook, and you go see the comments, and it's just ridiculous. The comments, you can't beat them, right? You can't beat these comments for these people who have no idea what they're talking about in terms of firearms. Anybody that tells you we should ban assault weapons doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Anybody that says that we need background checks doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. We already have background checks. You understand? And they can't even tell you what an assault weapon is. They can't tell you what an assault weapon is. What is the definition of an assault weapon? Anything that I can assault you with. A lighter, some weird seed, some weird seed. If I throw this at somebody, boom, and hit them with it, it becomes an assault weapon. My glasses case, I could bop you upside the head with it. This glass jar. This, this is really good, by the way. This chili lime seasoning, which I like to kind of like pour in my hand. Really good. When I was a kid, I used to go to the ice cream truck and get these little packets, right? One was green, and one was kind of like orange red, and you open it up and have these little the seasoning. You're supposed to put it on like lemons and limes and shit, but I used to just eat them right out the packet, man. It had this like 7-Up symbol looking thing. This is back in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm an 80s baby, pre-millennial. But I hit you with this assault weapon. I hit you with this, right? Assault weapon, right? Like, they can't tell you what that is. But, of course, they want to act like they know. And they're just regurgitating the talking points of these so-called Democrats, the so-called liberals in politics. Shot Killer said, I just got my first rifle carbine, finally. Unfortunately, in my mom's name, though. Oh, why is it in your mom's name? Anyway. It matters not. So what happens? Of course, understandably, everyone is distracted by, not distracted, but concerned about what happened or what allegedly happened in Uvalde, Texas. And while that's happening, the GOA, the Gunners of America, discovers some very interesting things through a FOIA request in regards to what the ATF is doing with those forms, those background check forms. I forgot what the designation is. But, you know, this is what they're doing, right? They're not supposed to keep records and of us like that. They're not supposed to keep a registry, and they're not supposed to be able to search us by name and find out what we have, how much we paid for it, what the caliber is, what the make is, all that shit. They're not supposed to be able to do that. That is a complete violation of the Fourth Amendment. That's a complete violation of our rights to privacy. And they got caught. After months of prep, I'm reading this article. And this is the Gun Owners America website. You guys should. I am not a member of the. Hold on. Let me move this out the way. I'm not a member of the NRA. I used to be a member of the NRA, but I'm no longer a member of the NRA after I found out how compromising they are in regards to our Second Amendment rights. Shah Kevin said I should be off probation, but I haven't been cleared yet by my probation officer. They've taken a long time to get back to me. Of course they are. Government bureaucracy. So, this is the GOA website. GOA is non-compromised. This is what I like about them. And you can join them, you know. I'm not in any form or fashion associated with them other than being a member myself, and that's about it. And also, look into USAA if you want to cover yourself in case you have to use your little ticky. You understand what I'm saying? And since I'm in, I don't know how YouTube feels about this type of stuff, but, you know, I'm just letting y'all know it's good to have it on you. You understand what I'm saying? Don't get caught without it. I never will now that I'm in a place where I can do that. And I'm going to always encourage it, and I'm always going to show off my ability to do what I got to do, right? So keep that in mind, man. Don't ever be ashamed of the fact that you are well equipped. Don't ever make them shame you. Don't ever make them try to blame you for the other idiots' actions against other people. I will never feel responsible or guilty for anything that happened in Uvalde or anything that happened in Buffalo. I am not responsible. I had nothing to do with it, so I am not responsible for that. And I still stand on the fact that the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I am not wavering or anything like that. And shout out to those Texas politicians who say that they won't be swayed either. You know, that's I guess that's a good sign. But if we look at this here, after months of preparation, we are ready to go public with our explosive report on the ATF's nefarious gun registry. After pouring over hundreds of pages of secret documents that we were able to secure through the Freedom of Information Act, we have found undeniable proof that the ATF's registry, which they claim is only used to trace firearms used in crimes, is indeed a centralized and searchable registry of gun owners in total violation of the law. Fuck that total violation of the law shit. We're talking about total violation of people's rights, which trump whatever law that could have been written about this. There needs to be no law. This is a complete violation of our privacy. You understand? We don't need this. We don't, the law, fuck that. You understand? I'm just, nothing against GOA. But we have to get the verbiage right. We got to get it right. Because law can't be changed, and it can't be written by man. There is no law of violation of. What's up? Huh? Some what? Peanuts. Peanuts? What? What's up, baby? What's something else? No, you have some fruit. Anything. Anyway. That's right for discrimination. You goddamn right. The Hillbilly Redneck says, can the child services do anything about Mighty Mouse? Because he had videos with his 8-year-old kid while Mouse is drunk, high, and you know what? You might have something there, the Hillbilly Redneck. Good point. We should be able to look into that. That is very true. And I wouldn't feel bad at all for calling CPS on his bitch ass. Nope. Next time he does that, actually, well, he might taking the videos now. But the next time he does that, we need to screen record that and send that to CPS. You got a good point there. Good point there, Hillbilly Redneck. Okay, so because FOIA documents can be pretty tedious, we compressed the important points into the reports we are releasing to the public. Read it over and share with anyone who doubts the ATF has an illegal registry of gun owners. Part of the reason we know you support us is because we do more than put out reports. We also help generate support for gun legislation. To keep up the pressure, we need you to support this guy's blah, 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 okay? Congress, so oh, man. So, just so you know, Ted Cruz is coming up with some legislation. It's called his version of Congressman Michael McLeod's No Registry Rights Act, which will eliminate the ATF's gun registry. This is my problem, okay, with the law and politics. It's already a crime. This is already a crime. Why do we need to come up with another law It's redundant. Why are we coming up with these redundancies? You understand? It's already a crime to have this registry. So why are we needing to create another law that does exactly what it should have been doing in the first place? This is what needs to happen. Let me tell you what needs to happen. No more laws. What needs to happen is the individual responsible for creating this registry needs to be placed in jail. There's already something here, right? Let's go here. Well, this is something else. Hold on. Now, there's already, hold on. I'll distract y'all with my typing. There's already something that says that they can go to jail for this. Okay? There's already something here. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that law. Why is he doing this? What Ted Cruz should be doing, if he was an actual representative of the people, what he should be doing is having these motherfuckers arrested. Have the ATF director arrested, everybody that participated in the collecting of these files, and anybody that came up with the registry itself. Anybody that touched that needs to be imprisoned. We don't need to create a No Registry Rights Act. It's already in violation. It's already a violation of our rights. This is pointless, and this is going to cost money. You understand what I'm saying? To come up to this bullshit this is going to cost money. And I wish the GOA would recognize that. They already acknowledge it here. What did he say? Is indeed centralized in searchable registry of gun owners in total violation of the law. So why do we need this? Why do we need this? Hold on. Why do we need this? Why do we need this? We don't. We don't. You already acknowledge the violation of the law. Why are we creating more laws that they're not going to get in trouble for violating anyway? Same X Drive says they would rather take away our rights than go for the source of the problems, such as mental health and breakdown of family structure and other things that cause it. There are numerous variables that causes these problems. Moochman 25 has new video of Mouse drunk and acting sexual. I need to go to his channel. Yes, Alexander, they are incrementally violating our freedoms. Moochman 25 says, hey, I have video of Mouse in action and his son and wife are laughing. All right, so we need to act on that. We need to get it cracking. Right? Mighty Mouse needs to be reported. That's the bottom line to it. I'm all for it. So, let me see what this is saying.
I've got some breaking news for you. Gun Owners of America has just released a massive report on the ATF's illegal gun registry. Here's the first part of our 5-part series on how dangerous this registry is and what we're doing to stop it. I'm Phil, and this is the Minuteman Moment. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you can watch every episode about this new report. We've talked extensively about the ATF's gun registry on previous episodes of the Minuteman Moment as that news was breaking. And with the help of Congressman Michael Cloud and thousands of patriotic GOA activists like...
Look, this is a good source, right? This is a good resource. GOA is no compromise to a degree now, I'd say. Because if there were truly no compromise, they would be calling for McCloud and Senator Ted Cruz and every other so-called pro-2A senator or congressperson to have them arrested, have the ATF people arrested. Because look at here. This is 18 U.S. Code 242, deprivation of rights under the color of law. You have it right here. You don't need an additional law. This code covers so much violating the government does. This covers it. Yet, no one in power, none of our representatives, or no executive who calls themselves law, people of law, man of law, whatever the case may be, people that say they believe in law and order, no one has used this to do what it was created to do, which is arrest and even put to death people who violate our rights under the color of law. Let's go over it. Whoever, under the color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, you see, willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges. You know how these privileges that they tell people, oh, you don't have to have a privilege. Oh, you don't have a right to privileges. Oh, that's a privilege. It's not a right. Well, look, privileges are covered here. Privileges are covered here. Privileges are covered. So whoever says that, it doesn't matter if you think it's a privilege. Guess what? It's privileged. It's a privilege. Privilege is covered under 18 U.S. Code 242, deprivation of rights under the color of law, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or to different punishments, pains, or penalties on account of such person being an alien, or by reason of his color or race, than are prescribed from the punishment of citizens, shall be fined under the title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. And if bodily injury results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include the use, attempted use, or threatened use of a dangerous weapon, explosives, or fire, shall be fined under the title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. And if death results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include kidnapping or an attempt to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to kill, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for any term of years for life or both, or may be sentenced to death. What does that mean in regards, in context, or in relation to this? Or red flag laws. Red flag laws. That would be a violation of 18 U.S. Code 242. How many people have been kidnapped, injured, or put to death under the implementation of a red flag law? How many firearms were stolen? You steal from somebody, you're violating their rights. That's covered here. Anybody that has implemented, created the law, executed the law, or executed the red flag bullshit should be punished in accordance to 18 U.S. Code 242, deprivation of rights under the color of law. Whoever created this code, they knew what they were doing, and they knew where this country could go. They knew that people in power always thirst for more power, and they will do anything by any means to obtain that power. So anybody, and what does it say here? Let's go to it. Under the color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, custom. That means even if it was voted on in the Senate and the Congress and passed a vote, if it is a deprivation of rights, that law is violation. And anybody who voted for it or called for its implementation or had it implemented or executes it or enforces it, and it results in the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or to different punishment, pains, penalties on account of such person being an alien or by reason of his color or race, then are prescribed for the punishment of citizens shall be fined under the title and imprisoned not more than 1 year. But does this happen? We don't need this. We don't need this. You just told us that is a violation of the law, but you're telling us that they're going to create another law. To do what? In the registry? They want to create a law to eliminate the ATF's gun registry that should not be in place to begin with. This is amazing. Yeah, they write the serial number on the back of the 4473. Yeah, that's the form. That's what the form is called. No nonsense, Stucky was good. Yo, snap. You heard that in the Uvalde situation, the cops that were present there stood outside. Yeah, instead of I know. Yeah, I just talked about that. I talked about how they allowed this man to enter into the school when they were heavily armed and got into a shootout with him. He shot one cop. He was able to shoot a cop out of many cops, but was able to get away and go into the school. Come on, man. Cops are useless. Ooh, what did I do? Assembly drives. And the tax cattle would rather sit back. Wayne 7 J92 was good. Complain and not rise together and do a thing about it. No, they won't do a thing about it. It's crazy. Buck Nasty snaps are looking like he finna take my order at the drive-thru. You talking about? Oh, me? Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, this thing right here. I got this from my wife's. She's taking a real estate class, so, and while she was taking her class out here, I'm back here. I'm back here banging on that and that over there, and it was too loud for her, so I had to get something to, something to keep the noise down for her. James Miller says, like the best thing they could was save their own children. They didn't defend none of the other kids like they were supposed to, and you have ICE directors saying good job to law enforcement. Same old story. So, this completely unnecessary. Just enforce the code that's already in place. And I'm pretty sure there's other codes and laws that speak specifically to having your right to privacy violated. And for those of you people who tell you, privileges aren't, they don't, you're not obligated to have privileges, or we're not supposed to let you have privileges we don't want to. Privileges are covered. Like people who tell you driving a car is not a right, it's a privilege. No, driving a car is a right. You have a right if you can buy that vehicle. You have the right to use that vehicle as long as you're using it responsibly and not being reckless and going around hitting people and all that other shit, damage your property and all that type of shit. So driving a car is not a privilege. It's a right. And if it was a privilege, it's covered here. They don't have the right to violate our privileges. They don't have a right to violate our immunities. Anyway, so that's what you got there. ATF has a registry. I think it's over a billion records that they can access, searchable, okay? And so, a clear violation already. These people should be arrested. The ATF should be disbanded, completely destroyed, completely dismantled, and all the money that was put into ATF or was allocated to ATF needs to go back to the people. Give us a fucking refund for this worthless organization. But no, we're gonna create a law that says no Registry Rights Act, which will eliminate some shit that should already be eliminated. You don't need this. Anyway, I know I keep repeating myself, but it's hard not to when the retardation is cracking. And I just want to talk about real quick Biden's dumbass comments in regards to, you know, the Texas situation and what he says about the Second Amendment. You know, of course, he's calling for us so-called assault weapons to be forcibly taken from people. It's just, you know, that would be also a violation of 18 U.S. Code 242. But, you know, if he tries it, let's create it. If he does it, let's create a law that puts a stop to it. No, arrest the motherfucker. That's what you do. Arrest this guy. If he violates our rights under the color of law, he needs to be arrested. And that goes for anybody in his position. That goes for any executive, any legislator, any judicial motherfucker. It's plain and simple. It doesn't say except for presidents. There's no exemption here. It doesn't say unless it's a president. It doesn't say unless it's a fucking politician. No. Whoever, that any human being, whoever. That's what we're talking about. Whoever, including this clown shoe, okay? Including that clown shoe. But let's go into it, right? Because there are certain things he says about the Second Amendment that just don't hold water, right? Like, Second Amendment is not absolute, but it is. He says, when in God's name will we do what needs to be done? What needs to be done? I'll tell you what needs to be done. Empower the people. That's what needs to be done. That's what you do. You empower the people to defend themselves, and that's it. Empower the people, or allow people to be empowered, because really the government can't empower you. The best way for the government to empower you is to cease to exist. Point blank, period. Common sense gun laws, control laws in the way, like, come on. While the clearly will not prevent every tragedy, we know certain ones will have significant impact, have no negative impact on the Second Amendment. This is complete and utter bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit, because we know that any law, any edict that would infringe upon our rights to keep and bear arms is negative. It's a negative impact. The Second Amendment is not absolute. When it was passed, you couldn't own a cannon. You couldn't own certain kind. That's not true. It's not absolutely untrue. This is fucking bullshit. This is completely false. There's always just been limitations. No, there has not been. No, this happened in the 20th century. Violations. These limitations just started happening in the 20th century. Last century. But of course, before that, certain individuals, melanated folk, they they didn't have, they weren't allowed to exercise these rights. But we're talking about in general, in terms of the country in general, right? We know that slaves were not allowed to keep and bear arms. We know that. Even after slavery, sharecropping and Jim Crow, we know. But sticking to what it is, there have not always been limitations. It's bullshit. Motherfuckers had cannons. Motherfuckers had all types of weapons. They had cannons. What is this? Private motherfuckers had cannons. This is completely another bullshit. Okay, so the president comments drew intense criticism from conservatives and gun rights activists. Now, this is what I hate. I don't hate it, but from conservatives. It can't just be conservatives, right? It has to be everybody. Everybody that believes in the right to keep and bear arms needs to criticize this bullshit. Who know the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms includes the word shall not be infringed. That makes this absolute. I mean, it doesn't make it absolute, but it lets it be known that our right to keep and bear arms is absolute. No man, no group of men, no corporation, no government agency can give us rights and take rights away unless we're violating the rights of others already. If we're violating the rights of others to a certain degree, then yeah, we're going to get we don't deserve certain rights if we're violating other people's rights. But as it stands, if you're not violating anybody's rights, no government entity can take it away. Yeah. But, and then one Florida senator earlier this Wednesday tweeted, try to take our guns and you'll learn why the Second Amendment was written in the first place. I mean, that sounds good. The situation that robbed elementary school in Uvalde ignited a firestorm coming just 10 days after the mass situation at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York. The 18-year-old Texas gunman purchased 2 AR-15. How? How was he able to afford? Like, come on. An 18-year-old, he saved up his money. Democrats in Congress renewed calls to pass major gun control legislation, such as an expanded background check bill stalled in the House and may it stay stalled. I'm not moved. Nothing will ever move me away from acknowledging that I have the right to keep bear arms no matter what. No matter who gets shot by what lunatic. Another lunatic's actions does not give anyone the right to strip me of my right to keep bear arms. Point blank and period. Sad though it may be what he did. But he's dead, right? He's dead. That's the best thing you can do in this situation after it already started. The best thing they could have did was stop this motherfucker before he went to the school, but they didn't do that. That's the problem. The problem isn't the gun itself. The problem is that he was allowed to get into the school and get into a classroom and keep this whole thing contained in the one classroom where, hey, let me see what y'all talking about. Buck Knight says, Joe Budden killing my pockets at the pump. No shit. Kevin Black says, Biden said that because we let Congress take away our freedom of speech. Yeah. Where's the backbone? Where's the courage to stand up to a powerful lobby? We're here today for the same purpose, to come together and say enough. What does gun lobby have to do with this shooting? What does the gun lobby have to do with the shooting? Nothing. The gun lobby did not do this. Right? The NRA, as much as I don't like the NRA, did not do this. I did not do this as a proud gun owner. And any other proud gun owner, we didn't do this. This shit is not on our hands. It's on the hands of the police who allowed this kid to get this close to a school before crashing, getting up in this school and doing what he did. It's on y'all. It's not on me. I'm not going to feel guilty about it. You understand? I don't feel guilty. I didn't do this. I feel bad for the families. I feel bad for the parents. You know, it's very sad. I couldn't imagine this happened to my children. If this really happened, I don't know. I didn't see it. I saw no evidence that this really happened. Just, you know, news reports. That's all I saw. But at the end of the day, if it did happen, I had nothing to do with it. So I don't feel guilty for this happening. I feel bad. I feel like something could have been done. And the thing that could have been done was not to infringe on our rights to keep bear arms. That's just what it is. But, you know, they have an agenda to keep. They have things rolling. And there are certain corporatists and oligarchs and elite people that need us to be disarmed, weakened. You know, immune system is just all fucked up. They just need us. They need us to be submissive, subdued, so that they can do what they want to do. You know, I mean, let me see. They need us to be sedated, right? They need us to be okay with what they're doing. And, you know, we can't go for it. We just really can't. Oh, I did lose mine in the boat in an accident. Dark Nebula. This is some new shit. Actually, it's just a toy. It's a CO2 pistol. That's all. It's not the real thing. Okay. Because we have this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a Panopticon. This is what the WEF is creating. This is what they want to create. They want to create a digital, virtual Panopticon so that they can know what we're doing, how we're doing it, what we're buying, what we're eating, you know, our carbon footprint, all that type of shit. These are things that they're eager to know because they want to create, or are creating, something of a social credit score system, much like what China has. And they want to know who to cull, right? They want to know who to cull. And in order to make that happen, in order to cull us, they need us to be disarmed. They need us to be unarmed and weak and victims. They need us to be unarmed, weak victims. Okay? But they want us to buy into this stuff voluntarily. They want us to participate willingly to a degree. Give them baths. Yes. Anyway. They want us to be willing participants in their bullshit. And they want us to be excited about it, right? Like this whole own nothing and be happy thing that Klaus Schwab insists that people actually need. What are you going to own something? Are you going to be happy when you own that thing that you own? That's the question you have to ask these people. You know, I'm going to show this to you right here. And I'm pretty sure many of you have seen it, and that's okay. But it's just very important that we understand what they're doing. You know, we had, well, not first, but we had the surveillance under the skin thing, and now we got this whole carbon footprint tracker. Like, look, this is how cavalierly these people talk about this shit. You know?
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's
their own carbon footprint. Look how he presents it. Like it's a fucking amazing thing to behold.
What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? Carbon footprint. We're developing.
Look how he's presenting it.
Through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform?
What concern is this of yours? What are you eating? Where are you traveling to? What are you doing in your daily life? Well, that's what we want to know. This guy.
Through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
These people. Look at the arrogance. Individual carbon footprint tracker. Is that what it is? Is that all it's going to do?
We're developing.
This is hilarious, man. Individual carbon footprint tracker. Is that all it's doing? Let's see. Registration does indeed lead to confiscation. Bugnett says all sees a white devil. That's funny. Okay, cool thing about cannons, they don't need serial numbers. Exactly. Shot Killer said try to be God on earth. Exactly. Exactly. Footprint. That's how he said it. That's how he said it, Christopher. You know, what is it? Oh, okay. That's fine. These people, they just want to. They want to know what you're doing, when you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it, who you're doing it with, how many times you're doing it, what you have when you're doing it, what you're eating when you're doing it, where you're shitting, what your shit looks like, all that type of shit. They want to know. They want to have all this information. For what? For your carbon footprint? Really? Really? When their carbon footprint, an individual like this, his carbon footprint is many more times larger than my carbon footprint is going to be, or my entire family put together. But he wants to track my carbon footprint. But he presents it as something that will be an option for people if they want to know what their carbon footprint is. Miss me with that bullshit. So here's a panopticon, right? It's like a prison. What is a prison, right? This was a concept way back in the day. This here is the tower, right? And in this tower, you have the elites and their minions, right? The keepers, the guards, right? In this, these are the cells. These are these are the people within this panopticon, right? The panopticon is a circle, essentially. It's a surveillance circle, right? It's where you can see what everybody's doing within that panopticon from one location. That's essentially what it is. And everybody in here can be watched by the people in this tower. And when they get let out of their cells to do little exercises and stuff, they're all going to be in this here area. And everyone can be observed from this tower. This is what the World Economic Forum wants to happen virtually and digitally. That's why they want to track all this shit. That's why they want surveillance under the skin. They want you to put chips in you. This is why they want interfaces in your brain, right? All that type of shit. Cell phones, right? We are in a version of a panopticon right now. Anybody with a cell phone that uses the internet, that allows GPS to do what it does on their phone. You are being watched, you're being listened to, your emails are being captured. You know what I'm saying? I'm not to say that they're always being viewed and all that shit observed, but it's there, it's in the air. And guess what? This registry is a part of the panopticon. All right? It's part of the panopticon that they are creating. They're creating this panopticon, have created the panopticon, so that they can know who of us prisoners and slaves need to be hung from these here beams and rafters, right? Oh, we need to string these motherfuckers up and make examples of them. We are living in a virtual panopticon as we speak right now. And they're building it, the tower, they're building the tower bigger and bigger and taller. They're putting more people in the tower. And they're concentrating the tower, right? That's what they want. And they want to reduce the population of the individuals in the prison. So that we're easier to, because if you get so many people on this thing, you're not going to be able to see what everybody's doing, and you can't control everybody because there's so many people here. You're not going to be able to see who's passing the shank, who's doing this, who's doing that. You know what I'm saying? Who's plotting, who's scheming, who's saying what. That's what this is for. They want to reduce the number of prisoners so that their panopticon is much more easily utilized. And it's for no other purpose than that, man. This shit right here. Where is it at? This shit right here, carbon footprint tracker. That's just another implement. That's just another implement of the tower. That's just another instrument of the tower here. Kay says soon they will want to smell your shit. Yeah, no shit. Pun intended. Yep. Too many heads on the beast. Yeah. Shah Killen says, yeah. James Miller says, I guess technology like that is good for stuff like forensics and investigating crimes. Sure, it could be. Or not. They already have that type of shit. But perhaps I'm just being a fearmonger. My question would be, who asked these motherfuckers to get together in Davos and discuss our future and discuss this shit? Who asked these people to get together and no one who asked for their input? Who said, oh, please, Klaus Schwab, can you get all these rich motherfuckers together and see what they think about how the world should be? No, I didn't. Did y'all? I didn't ask for that shit. I did not ask for that. Excuse me. But I kind of want to go over
that
what Bill Gates has to say about prepping for the next pandemic. You know, and then I'm gonna get off of here.
Who is the executive director of the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis, and Malaria. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
I want to start with Bill Gates. Your new book is titled How to Prevent the Next Pandemic, but this panel is about preparing for the next pandemic. So is the next pandemic really preventable?
Well, the ideal is that when you have outbreaks, that you detect them early and you contain them before they go global. You know, less than 2% of the deaths are in the first 100 days.
Contain them how?
And, you know, infectious disease is an exponential phenomena. And so if you let it run, you know, then it's very difficult to rein it
Let it run.
back in. The true exemplars, you know, the variance between the death rates in countries with similar GDPs is quite dramatic. You have almost, you know, a factor of 50 between the good performers and the poor performers, where sadly the U.S. Is in that poor performer category. And there's clear things.
Why are we in the poor performer category, Bill Gates? Because we didn't do what China did and lock people in their homes? Perhaps because we didn't go far enough with restricting people's rights to move about freely? Because some states didn't lock down? Well, I'll tell you what, those states that didn't lock down, like say South Dakota, they had very little issue with this whole pandemic thing. But he's going to make it seem like, because if you look at the states that did the most lockdowns, they had the biggest problems with this so-called pandemic. So what is he talking about exactly? Which disease is he referring to? Which reminds me, which disease is he referring to? Is he talking about the coof, or is he talking about the disease of useless human beings? I wonder. I wonder. We'll get into the rise of the useless class real quick, now that I'm reminded.
Things that they did, if those were done early around the outbreak, then you could prevent it from spreading to lots and lots of countries. So that certainly should be the goal, is to not let it go global.
And we'll explore some of those very specific things that countries and institutions can do to help prevent the next.
All the things we're talking about, and those investments, you know, are very dramatic in terms of the payoffs you get, in terms of the human capacity you get by getting rid of these disease burdens. I'm going to go out and ask for an increase from 14 billion now. You know, we're not the only ones suffering from this. What about these great tools that we have access to? At risk that global health issues may get deprioritized, as there's so much else going on, whether it's, the ongoing pandemic or, as Peter says, however you characterize HIV, malaria, and TB, where, the equity issue there is super dramatic. And it's good in a way that, when infectious diseases hit rich countries, it reminds people, wow, we're not the only ones suffering from this. What about these great tools that we have access to? When the prevalence goes down in the rich countries, that awareness tends to diminish. Now, various bilateral programs like US PEPFAR and the Multilateral Global Fund have done a good job reducing a lot of that inequity. But it'll be an interesting test. There's a replenishment that comes up probably in the last quarter where Global Fund's going to go out and ask for an increase from 14 billion to 18 billion. And we'll see in the face of all these priorities that are, I agree, absolutely important priorities, can global...
What did he say? From 14 billion to 18
great
billion?
tools that we have access to. When the prevalence goes down in the rich countries, that awareness tends to diminish.
Let's get more power.
Now,
let's get more control.
Various bilateral programs like US PEPFAR and the Multilateral Global Fund have done a good job.
Yeah. Keep up. Keep it up. Keep going, son. Keep talking about how you need more and more money from us. The rise of the useless, okay? The rise of the useless. This is what they think of us now. You see, they're getting rid of the working class, the middle class. Historian Yuval Noah Harari, who is basically, he's very close to Klaus Schwab. He's one of the fucking people that he worked with a lot. Offers a bracing prediction. Just as mass industrialization created the working class, the AI revolution will create a new unworking class. Useless class. What is that? Where'd you get those from? Out of my room? You in my drawer? Why? Go ahead. The most important question in the 21st century economics may well be, what should we do with all the superfluous people? You see this? The superfluous people. This is what they think of us, y'all. Once we have a highly intelligent, non-conscious algorithms that can do almost everything better than humans, that is not entirely new question. People have long feared the mechanization might cause mass unemployment. This never happened because as old professions become obsolete, new professions evolved, and there are always something humans could do better than machines. Yet, this is not a law of nature, and nothing guarantees it will continue to be like that in the future. The idea that humans will always have unique ability beyond the reach of non-conscious algorithms is just wishful thinking. Superfluous people. Y'all know what superfluous means, right? I remember, Sam Majari says, I remember saying recently that they tried to tell us we came from monkeys, and this happened when the racists attacked Buffalo. Coincidence. There's now a monkeypox. Very interesting. Very interesting correlation there. The current scientific answer to this pipe dream can be summarized in three simple principles. Organisms are algorithms. Every animal, including Homo sapiens, is an assemblage of organic algorithms shaped by natural selection over millions of years of evolution. Algorithmic calculations are not affected by materials from which the calculator is built. Whether it is an abacus is made of wood, iron, or plastic, 2 B's plus 2 B's equals 4 B's. Hence, there is no reason to think that organic algorithms can do things that non-organic algorithms will never be able to replicate or surpass. As long as the calculations remain valid, what does it matter whether algorithms are manifested in carbon or silicon? True, At present, there are numerous things that organic algorithms can do better than non-organic ones, and experts have repeatedly declared that some things will forever remain beyond the reach of non-organic algorithms. But it turns out that forever often means no more than a decade or two. 99% of human qualities and abilities are simply abundant for the performance of most modern jobs. Oh, there are some safe jobs. The likelihood of that algorithms will displace archaeologists is only 0.7%. Oh, well, thank God for archaeologists. Most of what kids currently learn at school will probably be irrelevant by the time they're 40. I agree with that. I agree with that. But y'all get it. Y'all get it. The rise of the useless class. We are the useless class, people. Believe that to retrieve that. No nonsense, Stucky. No, he ain't supposed to be in my drawer. Anyway, I'm gonna get off of this. These kids are getting unruly, and my wife isn't here, so I need to go in there and regulate. Go in there and regulate. You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding. I love my kids, but I gotta go in there and spend some time with them and love up on them and make sure they're not burning the house down. Anyway, they're good kids though. They're very responsible. They don't get into a lot of trouble. They learned a lot from me and my wife how to be responsible and not be ridiculous. Even though they went in my drawer and took out things they're not supposed to take out, they're kids. You know what I mean? But anyway. I'm gonna get on out of here. Much love, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you guys, man, we can't let this shit go down, man. We can't let these people, these World Economic Forum motherfuckers, we can't let them dictate our lives anymore. We can't let government dictate our lives. We can't let politicians dictate our lives because obviously they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Or they do know what they're doing, which is exactly what they want to do, which means that we got work to do. Anyway, don't forget, let's keep marching forward towards freedom. Peace.